Welcome back to True Tales of the Paranormal and my brand new series in which I delve into the fascinating world of the supernatural. Today, I'm shining the spotlight on a figure steeped in mystery and folklore, the Banshee. If you've ever wondered what the Banshee is and what it means if you hear one, you're in the right place. And I will also share my own personal paranormal experience with hearing a banshee and what happened a few weeks later. I am Nefer Kefri, your hostess with the ghostess. Welcome to True Tales of the Paranormal. From the weird to the scary, from the bizarre to the strange, all that and more you'll find here at True Tales of the Paranormal, where every tale is absolutely true. First things first, what exactly is a banshee? Well, a banshee is a spirit that originates from Irish mythology. And in Irish, banshee translates to woman of the fairy mound. So technically speaking, the banshee is a fairy. The banshee's spirit is often depicted as a wailing woman, and her cries herald the imminent death of a family member. Now, though the banshee may strike a frightening figure, she really isn't. She just looks frightening and evil. The banshee is a spirit who is somehow connected to the family, and she mourns the impending death of a family member. On some stories, she only mourns the males of the family. In other stories, she may mourn only if a child is about to pass. But in the majority of stories, she mourns any and all family members who are about to pass away. So how does the banshee announce her presence? Typically, it's with a mournful cry or a wail. Some say if you hear the wail or the cry of a banshee, it can literally turn your hair white because it can cause such fright. It's such a mournful, horrible sound. I can vouch for that personally. It is horrible, it is mournful, and it is absolutely, positively terrifying. According to Irish mythology, it is said that the banshee appears near the homes of the dying, that usually she's around the house somewhere outside. She senses someone is about to pass away, and so she goes into her mournful cry outside, and the family members within the home can hear her. It is most commonly believed that the banshee has ancestral ties to the family, meaning that she's been connected to the particular family for generations upon generations. One of the most well-known banshees in history is the banshee who's connected to the family O'Connor. This particular banshee was known to lament the deaths of every family member. Due to the banshee's reputation as being a portent of death, she gets a bum rap. She's actually a protective spirit of that family, and she has come to guide the soul of the soon-to-be departed to the spirit realm. So she acts as an announcer and as a protector. If you think about it, the frightening appearance of the banshee, although very frightening to humans who see her, it is necessary because as a guide and as a protector to the soul that departs a recently deceased body, that soul is in great peril until it reaches its final destination on the other side. So the banshee serves as a protector and as a guide. Therefore, that spirit really does need to look absolutely terrifying and to also sound terrifying, to keep anything at bay that may attempt to interfere with the safe passage of that soul to its final destination after death. So stories connected to the banshee vary across Ireland and often will vary from village to village and from family to family who are connected to a banshee. So at this point, you may be wondering, what do you do if you hear a banshee? Firstly, as with any type of paranormal experience, The number one priority is remain calm. Keep your wits about you. Now, in the particular case of the Banshee, she is a spirit of mourning. She's not a danger to anyone. As a matter of fact, she's a protectress, right? And as such, she deserves respect. So, this is basically how you should handle it if you hear or have the grave misfortune to see a Banshee. The first thing you should do if you hear a Banshee is check out your family history and see if you do come from an Irish lineage. My husband, for example, although none of his family members of whom I'm aware have done their ancestry DNA or anything like that, they do come from English extraction. So chances are very good they have Irish blood in them as well. And we never realized that until the day I heard a Banshee outside the home where my in-laws live. That's coming up in a minute. But how to handle it when you hear one? Like I said, number one, remain calm. Number two, keep in mind this is a mournful spirit. This is a protecting spirit. She's of no danger to you. She's of no danger to anyone else. Even to the person who's about to pass away. She is a helper, okay? She's a guide to the other side. So she requires our respect. In order to respect her, first of all, don't freak out and start screaming. That's never a good thing anyway. Secondly, try to send her energy or vibrations of comfort. A Banshee can be known to wail the entire night long, keeping all inhabitants of the home awake the whole night, so where no one gets any sleep. You don't want that. So, in order to send her comforting energy, you can do several things. You can imagine white light around you and extending outward and around your home. She's a protector spirit. She'll see white light as being very positive. Okay? It's not like she's a demon and white light might cause her to try to fight it off or anything or resist it. No, she will happily accept visualizations of white light. Another thing you can do for her is pray for her. The Banshee spirit is very open to receiving any type of positive energy because remember, they're mourning the impending death of a member of the family whom they are here to protect. And because of that, they kind of see their protection as being a bit of a fail, even though they most likely realize humans don't live forever like the Banshee does. But still, you may want to pray for her, have her heart receive some loving energy from you that will help ease her discomfort at the impending death. And her wail won't last all night, and it may actually completely stop, as it did in my case. Another method of calming the Banshee is you can just put protective talismans or wards at the four corners of your property. And that will prevent you from ever hearing her. Because, usually people do not want to know they're about to die. That's usually not a good piece of information to have unless it's really important for you to get all your affairs in order. Otherwise, there is such a document as a living will, which I highly recommend. I have one, my husband has one, should the unforeseen occur. But in order to keep the Banshee at bay, you can put protective talismans in the four corners of your property, and I will actually film a separate video all about how to do that, and it's called Warding Your Home or Warding Your Property. So you can do that with the Banshee. Now, due to the fact that the Banshee is a type of fairy, another thing you can do to appease her is to leave her offerings outside your home. Fairies respond favorably to shiny, pretty objects, so stones and crystals, coins. The smaller fairies are associated with accepting offerings of bowls of milk or cream. You can try that as well. So that again, should she return with more wailing, it should not be as intense as that first time you hear her. And lastly, you can ask St. Michael the Archangel for his help. Now, St. Michael is also a guide for departing souls. So he and the Banshee could actually work hand in hand, helping the soul to cross over safely from this life to the next. Now, for the part of the video you've all been waiting for, what was my experience with the Banshee? First of all, looking at me, you know I have no Irish blood in me. I actually do have some German and some French, believe it or not. But absolutely no Irish. My husband, on the other hand, is of English extraction. And because of that, he probably, now I'm thinking, does have some Irish blood in him based upon the experience I had one night while we were staying at his parents' home for the weekend. Now, you know how it is when you're in a strange bed. It takes you a while to settle in, find a comfortable position, and get to sleep. My husband and I have been married 30 years now, and I'm filming this in 2025. The year of my experience was 2019. And it was a typical weekend at my in-laws. You know, they love playing cards and playing games, and that's what we were doing. And my mother-in-law is a great cook. She makes us a great meal. So, of course, you know, we stuff our faces. And in the evening, we watch some TV together. And then we go to bed for the night. This was no different, you know. And I was asleep in the front bedroom. Now, the beds that they have in their home, the mattresses are so hard that if two people sleep in them, you feel like you're sleeping on a tabletop. My in-laws happen to have two guest bedrooms, so I'll stay in one and my husband will stay in the other. This way, we can each sleep in the absolute center of the bed, which is the most comfortable part of that mattress on both their beds. So that's what we do. So I was alone in the bedroom that's in the front of the house, whose bay window overlooks the front yard and the street. And my in-laws live on a very quiet side street of a nice residential neighborhood in North Austin. So I'm there, I'm just about to drift to sleep, finally got into that comfortable spot, you know, and here I am, sleep is coming. And all of a sudden from outside, I hear like a, oh. Suddenly, I'm wide awake. And I'm going, what is that? And the window was to my right. And I'm looking toward it going, what? And I'm trying to listen really, really hard. And I'm thinking, you know, your logical mind immediately comes up with explanations. And I thought it was a cat. So I'm laying there, I'm listening, and all of a sudden, oh. And I'm laying there thinking, oh my goodness, that sounds like a stereotypical ghost. And I didn't know what to think. All I knew was the noise was outside the house. It was not inside the house. So first things first, I was not absolutely terrified out of my mind, but I have to admit I was afraid. But then I thought, maybe it's somebody's car alarm that's kind of petering out or something. You know, I don't know if car alarms ever kind of, you know, get messed up or start sounding contorted. But, you know, again, your mind is just picking up straws, any straw of logic to explain away what you're experiencing. And when you're alone in the dark and it's not your bed and it's not your house, that's what you do. And so I'm laying there going, is it someone's car alarm? And I listen, I hear nothing, right? And I'm going, okay, must be a cat in heat. Because it was like, it was May. And the reason I remember it was May is because my mother-in-law's birthday is in May, and it's right around Mother's Day. Some years it even lands on Mother's Day. So I figured a cat in the heat. It's spring, you know. So I'm laying there. I roll over. I get all comfy again. I'm laying there. Again, I'm just starting to drift off to sleep. And all of a sudden I hear, ooh. And this time it's a lot closer to the house. And it sounds like it's out on the sidewalk in front of the house. It's louder. And I can tell it's female. And I'm like, that's not a cat. And I'm laying there going, oh my God, what is it? What is it? What is it? And then I hear, ooh. And now I can tell she's basically standing right outside the flower bed that's in front of that bay window of the bedroom I'm sleeping in. Now, I've never heard the Banshee, obviously, because of my ethnicity. We have no Banshee connected to my side of the family or to either of my parents' side of the family. But being a person who has had a great deal of paranormal experiences, plus I've researched the field extensively, I realized, oh my God, is that a Banshee? And the second I had that thought, outside the window, really loud, piercing. I mean, it hurt my ears. And I'm there, I'm grabbing my sheet and I'm pulling it up around my neck, and I'm like, I'm saying to her mentally, I'm not Irish. I'm not Irish. You're not here for me. So, I'm Mexican. You know? I was really scared. You know, I'd never heard anything like that before outside of a movie. And even the sounds they make in movies for these, spirits, they don't sound as terrifying as what I was hearing. And so my heart was pounding. I mean, just telling you all, my heart's just. So I lay there, and my first go-to always, always, always is I call on Jesus, I call on St. Michael. And so I say, Lord Jesus Christ, please surround me with your protective white light, keep all evil away. And then I say the prayer to Archangel Michael, which is, Archangel Michael, defend us in our battles. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, thrust into hell Satan and all evil forces who wander the world for the ruin of souls. In Jesus' name, amen. So I said that. I felt calmer. Now I know I'm protected. I've called on protective energies. When you do that, you need to have the faith that they're actually there, because they are. So I'm laying there, I feel so much better. And all of a sudden I hear, ooh. And I'm like, there's no way that can be anything but a Banshee. And then I started thinking, well, my husband's a strawberry blonde. His mother's a blonde. His father's a blonde. And I was like, do they have any Irish in their family? They never said anything about having any Irish in their family. And, my husband and I have a daughter. And so, and even before that, when we got married, I was asking him, what's your ethnicity and all this? And he's telling me, and I talked with his grandmother, whom I found out has got some Cherokee in her. So my husband and my daughter actually have some Native American blood. Not very much. It's been diluted through the generations, but they have some. So I knew that the family was completely unaware of any type of Irish connection. So as far as I knew, an Irish connection did not exist. Yet, I'm definitely hearing the Banshee outside that window. So I'm laying there, trying to remain calm. And I'm thinking, what do you do for a banshee? What do you do for a banshee? And I'm trying to think, I'm going, back in time, the paranormal research I've done, and I'm like, okay, they're in mourning because someone's about to die. And then it hit me, oh my God, somebody's gonna die. Someone in my husband's family is going to die. And I'm like, please don't let it be my husband. Please don't let it be my daughter. Now, my daughter wasn't there at the time. She was an adult by this time, and she was away at college in Dallas. So I pretty much knew it wouldn't be her. So I'm laying there and I'm trying to come up with ways to deal with the banshee because by now it's like about 1:30 in the morning. I really need to get to sleep. And, plus being so frightened, I knew it was going to take me a while just to calm down enough to where I could get to sleep. But I had to find a way to get the banshee away from the house, or at least to be quiet, so I could sleep, right? And so I start sending her white light. I imagine white light all around me, and I imagine the circle, the bubble growing larger and larger and larger till it encompasses the whole house, her, the yard. And when I imagine the white light hitting her, because now I realize she's standing right in that flower bed outside my window, I hear her go, oh, much softer, much shorter in her wailing. And I was like, oh, good, it's working. So I send her more white light. Then I pray for her. And I ask her to be at peace. And I also thank her for coming because I know whoever is about to pass away, she's going to be their protector, which is, a wonderful thing to have a personal spirit protector when you cross over. I mean, we all do anyhow, because everyone has a guardian angel. You have that. But some of us, depending on our cultural backgrounds, depending on our ethnicity, sometimes depending on our beliefs, we have additional protectors. So I was finally able to get her to be quiet to where I could finally fall asleep, but it was like 3:30 in the morning by the time I was able to go to sleep. And my in-laws are early risers and they talk loudly because my father-in-law is deaf and does not like to wear his hearing aid. So I'm there at 7 o'clock in the morning being awoken by conversation in the kitchen that's on the opposite end of the house. So I'm like, oh great, what time is it? It's like 3. How long did I sleep? And I'm just like, oh. So luckily I always bring earplugs with me just in case I have a bad night, Pop those babies in. I couldn't hear them anymore. I slept till 10. But then when I got up, I'm like, do I tell them? I'm like, no, I don't think I should tell them. And then I thought, I wonder if anybody else could even hear it, because I never heard anyone else in the house stirring at all. So I just assumed no one else had heard her. But when I got up, my husband was in the bathroom brushing his teeth, and you've got to pass the guest bathroom to get to the kitchen. So I just popped my head in and I said, hey, honey, did you hear anything weird last night? Any weird noises outside? He says, no, man. As soon as my head hit the pillow, I was out. I hate that about him. He falls asleep immediately, all the time. So that night was no exception. So he heard nothing. So I continue on to the kitchen, and my father and mother-in-law are in there. And, we say our good mornings, and, my mother-in-law is like, there's bacon in the microwave, coffee in the maker, and, so I'm kind of getting my little bit of a breakfast together. And I go sit down at the table, and they're there reading the newspaper because, they're older. They still have the newspaper delivered. So they're there with it all spread out all over the place. And I ask them, did y'all happen to hear anything weird last night outside? And they're like, what do you mean? I said, well, maybe like a cat in heat or a car alarm going off, something weird. And they said, no, nothing. Why? And I said, well, I kept hearing this noise most of the night, and that's why I didn't get up till 10 o'clock. Kept me up till about 3:30 in the morning. They're like, whoa, really? And my mother-in-law said, it must be someone who just doesn't know how to handle their car alarm. And I'm thinking to myself, this was no car alarm that's ever been invented. But I didn't say anything because I didn't know who the Banshee was there to guide to the other side. And I assumed it was one of my in-laws. Now, my in-laws are very practical, down-to-earth people, so you can't explain any of the spiritual stuff to them. They don't believe in anything that I do for a living. It's like, we don't talk about what she does. So, I couldn't discuss it with them. I couldn't explain it to them. I could only hope that whoever went would go quickly without any lengthy suffering. And I kind of left it at that. I did kind of tell my husband, your parents are getting older now. If you ever want to go visit them on your own, and I'm unable to leave, because sometimes I do have to work on the weekend with my spiritual business because orders come in and I have to fill them. I said, just go ahead. Don't feel bad about leaving me at home. If you want to go see them. In other words, hint, hint, something may be about to happen. And he kind of took it that way too. And he's like, yeah, you're right. They're not getting any younger. I'm like, yeah. Now remember, this was early May. Late May is our wedding anniversary. So it's a big holiday part of the year. We've got Mother's Day at the beginning of May. We've got our anniversary on the 22nd. Then in June, on the 19th, is my birthday. So all this happening. That happened to be the year of my 50th birthday. And I was expecting it to be kind of a special deal. I figured I wouldn't have to plan it because it's my birthday, right? My husband's going to plan it. My mother-in-law will do something, my daughter, whatever, and it'll be really nice, right? No. Unfortunately, there was a death in the family that occurred. I want to say it was the first week of June. I'm not positive. It could have been closer to my birthday on the 19th, but I think it was the first week of June. And it was my mother-in-law's little brother, the youngest on her side of the family, passed away. Now, he did not live with my in-laws, but he did live in town. And so, he had a local funeral and all that of course we attended. But that was the impending death, and that was the soul the Banshee had come to collect. And she came a month early, but I think the reason she came so early is because I was there. And spirits know when someone can hear or see them or sense them, they are very much aware of that. And so they will be more active around that person because they wish to be acknowledged. And I think she not only wanted me to know someone was about to pass away, but I think the poor thing just wanted some attention. And she knew, based upon my knowledge and my own experiences, that I'd be a good person to go to for that. And with the brother being very ill at the time, and we kind of knew he was getting ready, it did not come as a huge surprise. It was really sad because he was really young, but not a big surprise. I think that's why I heard the mournful cry of a banshee. And there you have it, the chilling world of the Banshee, from her wailing cries to her frightening visage to her reputation as a protector and a guide for the departing soul. Whether you believe in the folklore of the Banshee or not, it's a very interesting type of spirit who, remember, is also a fairy. Understanding the tale of the Banshee enriches our own understanding and appreciation of other cultures and their beliefs. And I am now in the scroll across the bottom of the screen acknowledging the subscriber who suggested I talk about the Banshee. Thank you so much. If any of you would like me to talk about a particular type of spirit or a cryptid or any type of weird entity that you're interested in learning about, let me know because I am looking for ideas. This is going to be a whole new series. I'm really excited about it because I have loved the paranormal since I was a little child. So I've done a whole lot of reading. I'm 61 years old. That's a whole lot of books. So go ahead, ask away in the comments, leave your suggestions. I'm open to anything and everything. Thank you so much for watching. I ask that you please subscribe if you haven't already. And if you are one of my 758 subscribers, thank you so very, very much. I never thought this would go beyond maybe 10 or 20 people. So I am really pleased everyone enjoys my storytelling. And remember, every tale I share with you is a real and true experience. I am Neferkefri, your hostess with the ghostess, and I'm wishing you a very blessed day ahead. So the Banshees, sure. So the Banshee serves as a protector and as a guide.